Let's do some order of operation examples, but with fractions. And when we are doing these examples, remember we are following BEDMAS. And you're always following BEDMAS, so I'll just put always with an exclamation point here. You should always be following BEDMAS. So our first example is going to be negative 2/3 plus 1/2 divided by 3. So the first thing we want to do is see the operations we have here. So we have addition and we have division. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 3 and I'm going to write it as 3/1. Next up, I am going to do division. So we have negative 2/3 plus 1/2, and when we divide, remember we multiply by the reciprocal, so we are going to flip this, and we end up with 1/3. So we're going to do our multiplication. So 1/2 times 1/3 gives us 1/6. And now we have to add two fractions together. We do need to get a common denominator first though, so I'm going to multiply negative 2/3 by 2/2. And that gives us negative 4/6 plus 1/6, which gives us negative 3/6, and you should always reduce your fractions. So that's going to be reduced down to negative 1/2 as our final answer. Okay, let's do another one. I think we need a fresh page for that. So our second example, we have 2 3/5 plus 1 2/3 divided by 1/2. So my first step here, aside from noticing that we have addition and division, is going to be to change my mixed fractions into improper fractions. So 2 3/5 gets changed into 13/5, and 1 2/3 gets changed into 5/3. So now I'm going to do division. So I'm going to leave that 13/5. Now plus 5/3. So we want to flip that 1/2 and multiply. And we end up with 5/3 times 2/1. We're going to do that multiplication, which gives us 10/3. And now we need to get a common denominator. So our lowest common denominator in this case is going to be 15. So what we need to do is we need to multiply 13/5 by 3/3 and 10/3 by 5/5. So 13 times 3 gives us 39, and 5 times 3 gives us 15. 10 times 5 gives us 50, and again 3 times 5 gives us 15. We are going to add those two together, and we end up with 89/15 as an improper fraction, or you can change it into a mixed fraction and get 5 14/15. Let's do one last example here. One minus 1/2 divided by bracket 3/2 divided by 2, close bracket. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to work inside my brackets because, of course, we are following BEDMAS. and I'm going to end up with 3 over 2. I'm going to use a square bracket here because I'm going to use some round brackets for multiplication. So 3 over 2 times 1 over 2. Because remember, we can write that 2 right up above as 2 over 1. And now I'm still going to work within those brackets and do my multiplication. So we have 1 minus a half divided by 3 times 1, which gives us 3, and then 2 times 2 gives us 4. And we have subtraction and division. So I'm now going to flip and multiply, and we end up with negative 1/2 times 4 thirds. Now at this stage, you can actually simplify as you are going along, or you can wait until the end to simplify. So we have a 4 that is in the numerator position and a 2 in the denominator position. So we can think of this as 2 being divided by 2 one time, and then, it goes in one time, and 2 goes into 4 2 times. So you can, I'm going to just put this right here. That's what we did. We divided those both by 2, and so we were simplifying as we went. So simplify as you go, or else you just simplify at the end. So that's going to give us 1 minus, and then we have 1 times 2, so that's 2 over 3, right? Or 1 minus 2 thirds. Now that we just have subtraction left, we need to get a common denominator, which is going to be 3. So we're going to do 1 times 3 over 3. And remember, we can treat this one as 1 over 1 minus 2 thirds. So that's going to give us 3 over 3 minus 2 thirds, which gives us a final answer of 1/3.